least one women independent director in the top listed entities by market capitalization, in top 500 by April 1, 2019, and then top 1000 by April 1, 2020. Separation of CEO, MD and chairperson for top 500 companies. Compulsory webcast of AGMs for the top 100 entities by market capitalization with effect from next year. Recommendations which have been referred to other agencies are strengthening the role of ICAI, internal financial controls, adoption of Ind AS, and governance aspects of public sector undertakings. The recommendations which were not accepted, some of them are sharing of information with promoters, other significant shareholders, increase in minimum number of independent directors on board, minimum compensation to independent directors, increase in minimum number of board meetings from 4 to 5 years. So in summary, this is what happened to the Kotak committee recommendations, and these are the decisions. Next important issue on which board deliberated and took decision relates to measures for strengthening algorithmic trading framework. There was a consultation paper which was in fact taken out in August 2016. It has been in public domain for some time, and there has been a lot of discussion on this subject, algo trading and also co-location issues. So some of the important salient features of the decisions taken for these regulations are: stock exchanges to introduce shared co-location services. This would reduce cost for brokers and address concerns of unequal access. Tick-by-tick data feed to be provided free of charge by stock exchanges. Algo orders beyond plus minus 0.75 of last traded price would attract penalty under order to trade ratio framework, that is some sort of a congestion tax. Unique identifier for each algo, this would help in surveillance by SEBI. Enhanced disclosure of latency by the stock exchanges, and simulated market environment for testing of software. Instead of doing it only once a month on a Saturday, it could be done more easily. Next decision which is taken, again a very significant one, is for rationalizing and strengthening the framework of equity derivatives market. There was a consultation paper which was taken out by SEBI about a few months back, and the decision taken is that existing criteria be enhanced, that is market-wide position limit and median quarter sigma order size revised upwards, additional criteria of average daily deliverable value in cash market of rupees 10 crore introduced. Enhanced criteria are to be met for a continuous period of 6 months. This enhanced criteria has to be necessarily met for a continuous period of 6 months. The stocks currently in derivatives but failing to meet any of the enhanced criteria would be physically settled. Stocks currently in derivatives and meeting the enhanced criteria shall be cash settled for the time being. Physical settlement to be introduced in a phased and calibrated manner. Individual investors can freely take exposure in cash and derivative up to a computed exposure based on their disclosed income. For exposure beyond this, the intermediary to undertake rigorous due diligence and take appropriate documentation from the investor. Next item which was considered and decision taken was to amend the regulatory provision permitting charges of additional expenses up to 20 basis point on daily net assets of mutual fund schemes. So this has been decided to be reduced to 5%. That is 5 basis point, 0.5%. So this will reduce the cost of investing in mutual funds by the investors. Next issue is Go Green initiative for mutual funds. Dispensed with the requirement of publication of daily net asset value, sale, repurchase prices in newspapers, and of sending physical copies of scheme details and statement of scheme portfolios to unit holders on a half-yearly basis. Mutual funds to publish an advertisement informing about posting of annual report and statement of scheme portfolios on websites. Mutual funds to provide relevant information to investors upon request. So this is basically to reduce the paperwork and use the internet and IT for this purpose. Next item which was considered and agreed was amendment to the alternate investment fund regulations regarding angel funds, and these amendments have been brought to enhance ease of doing business for angel funds, and some of the salient features of these are increase in maximum investment in any venture capital undertaking from rupees 5 crore to rupees 10 crore, requirement of minimum corpus reduced from rupees 10 crores to rupees 5 crore, maximum period for accepting funds from angel investors increased from 3 years to 5 years, angel investors to file term sheet containing material information within 10 days of scheme launch in lieu of current requirement of filing of scheme memorandum with SEBI. Next item which was discussed in the board meeting and which was approved was revised framework for non-compliance of the listing regulations. Revised framework which has been approved, that is more comprehensive and covers a wide gamut of listing regulations. Non-compliance will lead to imposition of fines by stock exchanges. The stock exchange is empowered to freeze the entire shareholding of promoter and promoter group in such non-compliant entity as well as their shareholding in other securities, and then suspension upon persistent non-compliance. Next item which was discussed by the board and agreed was that distribution of cash benefits by depositories, that is dividends by depositories, in addition to by RTAs. Then there were some consultation papers which were approved by the board for seeking public consultation. The most important being the requirements which need to be made in various regulations administered by SEBI relating to insolvency and bankruptcy code, and issues which have been flagged in the consultation paper. They include aspects relating to disclosures, trading in stock exchanges, material related party transactions, reclassification of promoters, compliance with minimum public shareholding requirement, and delisting pursuant to resolution plan liquidation. Public consultation process as a part of reviewing the requirements of compliance with various SEBI regulations by listed entities which are subject to insolvency resolution process. So we have decided that we'll have short consultation of say around 15 days and thereafter take a view on all these matters. Another consultation paper which has been agreed to be put in public domain, that covers two regulations, that is SEBI buyback of securities regulations 1998, which has been virtually rewritten, and SEBI substantial acquisition of shares takeovers regulations 2011, in which language has been simplified, and it has been the frequently asked questions and circulars have been suitably incorporated in the regulations themselves. So they have been agreed to be put in public domain, seeking comments before finalizing. So these are some of the important decisions which were taken in today's meeting. Thank you.
Sir, good evening. Thanks for doing this press conference, sir. Vijay here from ET Now. So a couple of things. One, sir, if you could throw some light on the IBC discussion paper, certain regulatory changes. What was, is it that more consultation and consensus need to be taken before, and that's where the discussion paper, because looking at the urgency of the situation, the way things have panned out, and so also you could throw some light on the loan default disclosure circular which SEBI had kept in abeyance, any discussion on that, and clearly is that...
I think only not more than two questions at a time, otherwise myself will get confused.
Yes,
So on the first one, that's an important question. That the issue is that what are the requirements for the board for a listed company to comply with? Since there is no board for a company which is going through a resolution process, so that then that comes to the resolution professional actually, who is now been made in charge of that company. So what should be the obligations of the resolution professional? What happens to the related party transaction issues, and more importantly, what should be done to the share trading, and what happened to the old promoter who exited, whether he should be declassified. So I agree that they are urgent issues, but I also, that's why I'm saying we intend putting them in public domain for 15 days because consultation is required. As the bankruptcy law is evolving, You would have seen that there are many issues and cases which are going to NCLT and courts. So it's better to be cautious and try to understand and take views of all stakeholders as to what are the various pros and cons before deciding. But we'll decide very quickly. We understand the urgency.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for doing this press conference. Two questions, sir. One on the single day loan default, which the consultation which was withdrawn. We understand that government has also expressed some reservation as far as that is concerned. In that situation, would you be pursuing the government to take it up, or are there alterations which are being considered as far as that is concerned, and what could be the alterations? Second question, sir.
Yeah, I think one question. So that is to be decided by the board. That matter is with the board, and board will take a view. Okay.
How soon?
No, I cannot say. I'm not board. So that is to be decided by the board.
Hi, so this is Priyanka here from BTVI. So I just wanted to ask specifically on the resolution process and the paper that you are trying to put out for that. So talking about certain cases where there has been an out-of-court settlement where the RT has not been consulted, like the Binani Cement case, will there be any inquiry in that? Because what are the powers of the RT if the promoter group is doing an outside settlement? So if we can see any
So I think that you have to ask IBBI or Ministry of Corporate Affairs as to what are the powers of the RP. We actually are concerned that for a listed company, if there is no board of directors and RP is in charge, so what are the obligations of RP and what are the listing requirements, how those will be met? And we are more concerned with that. Vis-a-vis what are the problems which in the bankruptcy code implementation, perhaps you have to ask them.
Sajid, please. Sajid.
Sir, you spoke about introducing physical settlement in derivatives market. What was the consideration for this? Because in the past, committees have gone against doing a physical settlement there because it almost resembles.
Which is the committee which has gone against physical settlement?
Committee at that point of
LC
time.
Gupta said that it should be physically settled actually.
They were also of the opinion that it moreover the product resembles like a Badla product one to bring.
No. That's not the thing. LC Gupta said that committee said within 6 months it should be done. The concerns have been actually very much explained elaborately in the consultation paper, which has been in public domain for 4-5 months. The issues like this, it is actually to reduce speculation between derivatives market and to have derivative markets in line with the actual cash market. So this is a step in that direction. And so you better read the consultation paper, and we are going by the calibrated approach. And the idea is to reduce speculation in the derivatives market and to have alignment with the actual price in the derivatives market to the extent possible.
And on the
Will come in.
same issue, if I can add, will you be also looking at increasing the contract size of the derivative contract, the value of contract size?
No, we are not looking at that. We don't think that will really serve the purpose.
राजेश फ्रॉम दी बिजनेस सर हिंदी में जवाब चाहिए होगा आपने इक्विटी डेरिवेटिव का जो फ्रेमवर्क दिया है इसमें आपने कहा कि आईटीआर बेस्ड एक्सपोजर होगा इसका क्या मतलब है कि इनकम जितनी होगी उसके आधार पर वो डेरिवेटिव में एक्सपोजर ले पाएगा
देखिए, एक चीज होती है प्रोडक्ट सूटेबिलिटी, एक चीज होती है कि कितने लोग हैं जो ऑप्शंस और फ्यूचर्स को समझते हैं। ये तो ठीक है, जब तक मार्केट्स अच्छा है तो अच्छे पैसे अगर किसी के बन रहे हो तो लोग समझते हैं कि क्यों ना बनाए जाएं। तो अगर 26% जो है इसमें फ्यूचर्स और ऑप्शंस में रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और उनको समझ भी नहीं है, तो उसके बारे में रेगुलेटर को इंटरवीन करना चाहिए। ये डेवलप्ड मार्केट्स में भी ऐसा है कि जो डेरिवेटिव्स एंड ऑप्शंस की मार्केट है उसमें कई जगह ऐसे क्राइटेरिया हैं कि जिसमें कई जगह तो एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन से भी इसको लिंक किया गया है। तो ये हमने इस पे डिस्कशन किया। हमारी सेकेंडरी मार्केट कमेटी जो है एडवाइजरी कमेटी, उसमें भी इसको लेके गए। तो उसमें ये पाया गया कि एटलीस्ट ये देखा जाए कि क्योंकि ये इंफॉर्मेशन केवाईसी के दौरान ब्रोकर्स के पास रहती है, इसमें कोई एडिशनल नहीं मांगी जा रही। उसमें पता रहता है कि इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न से कितनी इनकी आय है, कितना ये इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं। इसलिए टू बिगिन विद कैश और डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट में मिला के इनकम देखते हुए कितना इन्वेस्ट करें, उसके बारे में हम चर्चा करके कुछ तय करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इट विल बी सॉफ्ट टच रेगुलेशन, लेकिन हम समझते हैं कि रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स को फ्यूचर्स एंड ऑप्शंस मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए प्रोडक्ट सुटेबिलिटी इज डेफिनेटली ए क्राइटेरिया. ये जो है कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स हैं.
ये फाइनल है, इसके बाद कुछ और लाइन
किस बारे में?
प्रोडक्ट सिक्योरिटी के बारे में.
इसके बारे में जैसे कहा कि इनकम रिलेटेड होगा, और इसके अलावा अगर इनकम से ज़्यादा वो करे तो हम कह रहे हैं कि जो ब्रोकर है वो ड्यू डिलिजेंस करेगा. तो इसमें क्या गाइडलाइंस होंगी, वी विल टेक आउट दोज गाइडलाइंस.
So you are saying that there will be two categories of stocks in derivatives. One is will be cash and physically settled, but there is always a minimum criteria for stock to be eligible for derivatives. So if the enhanced criteria is not met, you can add more stock, but it will be dependent on physical settlement. Is that what?
No new stocks. Anyone who is meeting the new criteria can be cash settled for some time to see. Anyone, the existing ones which do not meet the criteria, will shift to the physical settlement. So that doesn't mean that physical settlement list will increase. No. And if they don't within a year come up to the new criteria, then they will have to get out of the F&O segment.
And new stocks which will get eligible for this?
That will be only as per the new criteria.
Enhanced.
Yes, that's right.
Sir, could you tell us what is the status of the NSE communication case?
So we actually are in advanced stage of our inquiry. So we are on the job. We also understand the importance and timeliness of that job. So let's see how we have not yet completed.
Sir, I just want to ask you, a couple of recommendations of the Porter Committee has not been accepted. Like you said, 18 of them, and one of them you said is sharing information with the promoters. Also, there is an important recommendation on monitoring subsidiaries. You know, some of the companies have large subsidiaries overseas.
So those have been accepted. The subsidiaries, the material subsidiaries, and combined limited audit, and those have been accepted.
Having board members on these
Yes.
subsidiaries.
Yes.
So which are the ones which have not been
I
accepted?
just stated some of them. And then details are there in the press note.
See, it's not here, that is why it's not there.
No, they are already there. The ones which have been accepted are there. So you see the report. The ones which are minus them will be the ones which are not accepted. Why do you want me to read the report?
No, because sharing information with promoters was an important thing which they had looked into.
So that is what committee thinks important, and what finally is decided could be two different things. So it has been decided that that has not been agreed. So 18 out of 80 will be around 20%. So 80% of the recommendations have been agreed. You see from the point of view how much glass is full than empty.
So one question as far as the whole issue of circulation of unpublished price sensitive information is concerned. You've obviously asked few companies to submit a report and strengthen the internal system, but there is no breakthrough as far as getting the encrypted data is concerned. Does this mean the end of investigation from SEBI's end, or there is more to come from SEBI's end as far as that investigation is concerned?
No, this is not end to it. First of all, that period which have been given to those four companies is not yet over. So let's see what they report. And secondly, it's not over. In fact, this now has shifted to the investigation department, and we have utilized the services of some of the experts in encryption technology. We have taken some consultancy. So it is far from over.
Yeah. So on this OTR, you change it from plus or minus 1% to
Yeah.
0.75. So there was a study which said the 1% is not really effective. But is with 7 or 0. Will that change help? You think?
So we think so. That's how we have made it restrictive, and it's more of a trying to see there is less of congestion. We want to see that order to trade ratio. Actually, that it should not be unnecessarily ordered being fired and congesting the pipeline. So that's how we have restricted the limit, the width. So let's see.
For the the liquid stocks and indices, like that seems to be too wide a range. Like most orders seem to come within that range in any case.
So this is what we took it to SMAC, and it was decided that 0.75 perhaps is the right. To make it too narrow actually would also be could be seen as too restrictive. So that a balance had to be there. So 0.75 plus minus was what was agreed.
And on the physical settlement, is the plan to eventually move everything to physical?
So that depends on essentially on SLBM market, stocks, lending and borrowing, how that really works. So that's how we have started in a calibrated manner. We'll see what are the experiences from that.
Sir, but there has been so far SLBM hasn't been pick up and
So we have improved it. If you see, last year, if I'm right, in October we took out with new guidelines, and they are under implementation. So we'll see how they really work.
So just to follow up on physical, sorry. So just in terms of this competition from overseas, I mean in indices there has been that whatever the exchanges have done. But with stocks you can't really, I mean as far as we understand, you can't really stop overseas exchanges from listing stock futures. And if they are cash settled, which investors seem to prefer, then are we kind of working against the interests of our exchanges?
No. The point is that there is speculation, over speculation in the market. So if they're bad investments, they're speculative investments, so we are better off without them. And so far as you are saying that elsewhere they are cash settled, so we have found that at least in the option side, almost all of them are physically settled elsewhere also. And futures, there is a mixed sort of a position, but we cannot really spoil our market taking that into consideration. If that happens, we'll deal with that.
Hi, sir. Regarding the Fortis case, sir, just wanted to understand how confident is SEBI as far as getting the siphon money back, and also has there been any sort of dialogue between SEBI and the Malvinder brothers?
Yeah, that investigation is on. For both Fortis and Religare, investigation is on. And how confident we are, I cannot really say, but it is an investigation which is going on priority.
Sir, Tarun from Manikantan. Sir, recently the Supreme Court has passed one order against the Rakhi trading in circular trading. So what's your view? Are you planning to reopen the old cases of LTCG? Because the order says that the beneficiary is also the culprit. So one thing, and second, the NSCL case, when we can expect the investigation over and the order?
So on the first part, what court is saying is that the system, if it is misused and whether it is price or volume manipulation notwithstanding, misuse of system is something which is violative of SEBI's regulations. So we agree to that, but we don't intend reopening any of the old cases. That principle actually, it has upheld what SEBI's adjudicating officer itself said. So that strengthens our hand in the sense that that clarifies what the apex court says. So that is useful and guiding us for our future cases. We don't intend opening up our old cases on that. On the other matter, we are trying to expedite NSCL. Yeah.
So as far as mutual funds are concerned, many closed-end funds and navigating tax-saving funds have also been charging the exit load charges, even though there are no exit loads in those schemes. So any deliberation done by the board?
That I think we already issued a circular last month. That is totally irregular. Closed-ended funds have no exit load. So that even without waiting for this board meeting, it had to be brought in because this required changing in the regulation.
What about the
Closed-ended, we already issued circular. Sorry?
What about those funds that have been charging these charges in the past?
So we already asked them to stop through a circular which was issued last month.
But any plans to get them to claw back those charges that they've already taken from the schemes?
That is not under consideration.
Hi, Pawan from Business Standard. A lot of IPOs have been going south in the last few weeks. Do you think promoters and bankers are getting greedy? And from the end of a market regulator, is there something which you are planning to do or you could do?
It is actually the pricing is one issue which they are keeping, and if they are keeping high prices and not doing valuation properly and they are failing, really nothing we plan to do. And this year it has been a mega success for IPOs, and the